Happy day students, grade 7, chapter 1, nutrition and plants. This is part 2 video. In part 1 video we have studied about the autotrophic nutrition and the photosynthesis process. In this video we will study about the heterotrophic nutrition and the different modes of heterotrophic nutrition. So nutrition in plants that do not contain chlorophyll. So the mode of nutrition in non-green plants only we are going to study in this heterotrophic nutrition. So some plants which do not have the chlorophyll, so what they'll do, they cannot synthesize their food by themselves. So such plants only we call it as non-green plants. So therefore they rely on the other plants and animals for their food, and hence it come under the category heterotrophic nutrition. So in heterotrophic nutrition, we are going to study about the parasitic plant, insectivorous plant, saprophytes, symbiotic relationship, etc. So such plants use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So first we will see the parasitic plant. So parasites, as we all studied, parasites means they depend on other plant or animal for its nutrition. So if it is in a plant context, a parasite is an organism which lives on or inside the body of another organism. It can take the shelter and food from that organism. So one such example here we are going to study is this Cuscuta plant or dodder plant. So you can see a portion of parasitic attached to the stem of the host. That is, host plant is always at the loss because host plants only will prepare the food that will be taken by the parasitic plant. So Cuscuta, you can see it's a vine-like plant with this yellowish stem. So it twins around itself around the big trees, for example banyan tree. So the Cuscuta will get its nutrition from the tree on which it lives. So the tree actually climbs and lives, that we call it as host. So if you see here example, the banyan will be the host and Cuscuta is the parasite. So if you see, some plants live on another plant for their nutrition. This only we call it as parasite. So the parasite on which this parasitic plants survive are called the host. So in this previous example we have studied that host will be the banyan tree, the parasite is the Cuscuta or the dodder plant. So one such example we have studied is Cuscuta. The other name is dodder. What we are going to see is insectivorous plant. So from the name itself we can able to implies that some plants eat insects. So such plants we call it as insectivorous plant. So what happens here is they trap and digest the insects. One such example is pitcher plant. Here two examples given, Nepenthes and Dischidia. So if you take this Nepenthes plant, they trap and digest the insects. So the pitcher plant, you can see the leaf is modified into a pitcher like structure. So here only it has a lid, the lid is open, then it will attract the insects, and inside this pitcher you can see several hair like structure. So what happens when it traps the insects will go downwards into the pitcher of this plant, and then immediately the lid closes and the insects get trapped inside the pitcher. So, and then how it will digest? It will digest inside by the secretion of the enzymes by the cells of the plants. Like this only it will take the insects as food. So some plants depend upon plants for food, and thus this is called insectivorous plant. And next what we are going to see is saprotrophs. So saprotrophs are also non-green plants. Like examples we can say mushroom, yeast, bacteria, fungi. You can see in this picture the fungi growing on bread. So how it will take the saprophytes get their food from the dead and decaying organic matter. So they also not only on the bread, also on the pickles. So that's why we add preservating agents like salt, vinegar in the pickles to avoid the growth of this saprotrophs. So this they grow on the dead organic matter such as cow dung, wood, etc. So how it will digest? So the saprotrophs, for example, this fungi, yeast, bacteria, they will secrete digestive juice over this decaying materials and absorb the materials from them. That is acts as a food. So this is called the saprotrophic mode of nutrition, and hence such plants only we call it as saprophytes. You can see mushrooms, different types of mushrooms. It adapts the saprophytic mode of nutrition. Next, what we are going to see is symbiotic relationship or symbiosis, or even we can say as mutualism. That is combination of two, that is living together. Two different types of organism will live together and they work together for their mutual benefit of each other. That relationship only we call it a symbiotic relationship. Where we can able to see this, one such example is lichens. So they share their shelter and nutrients. So lichens, you can see these are composed of fungal and algae. So the fungus is a saprophyte and the algae is an autotroph. Autotroph we know it can prepare their own food. So the what happens the fungus will do, the fungus is a saprotroph, will supply the water and the minerals to the algae, and the algae will prepare food by the photosynthesis. So both will be shared. So that's why other name is mutual relationship. So a lichen is a plant in which algae and fungi will have a symbiotic association. And even another example also we can say a simple a bird sitting on the back of a rhinoceros, also example of symbiosis. How you can think the bird gets worms, small worms or small insects to eat, while the rhinoceros get rid of these worms. Okay, that is also an example of symbiotic relationship. Next is replenishment of nutrients in soil. Some fungus lives in the roots of plants. The roots of the plants will provide the shelter and food to the fungus. Again, the fungus will provide the important nutrients, minerals to the plants. One such example is you can see the rhizobium bacteria in the soil. You can, like plants require a lot of nitrogen to grow, minerals, and to be healthy also. So lots of nitrogen are available in the atmosphere, but it cannot able to absorb in a gaseous form. So it need to be converted. One such relationship is like helpful is bacterium called rhizobium. What it lives in the root nodules of legume plants such as gram, mung, etc. So what happens? This bacteria will absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere and in return provide them food and the shelter. This is also one such example of symbiotic relationship. If some bacteria which is live in our human intestine also have a symbiotic relationship. Can you think how it helps? For example, one such bacterium is a lactobacillus. So it is present in our intestine. So they help in digestion of food and In return, they get the food from the intestine. This is also one such example of symbiotic relationship. Thank you, children.